Church, blessed are the feet that bring good news. Have we been able to bring really good news lately? It seems as if we've had lots of bad news to carry. You know, we often say, hey, would you like the good news or the bad news first? And oftentimes we want to say, you know what, let's take the good news first. But how can we be in the midst of hearing this bad news, if you will, this despair that's in our country right now, in our cities, but yet turned into good news? In Matthew's Gospel, particular chapter 5, we have these Beatitudes, right? We all know this as Christ is teaching this crowd about how to be. How do you, as a Jew, and you're interested in living out your faith, do it in a way that you're not just doing it religiously, or you're not doing it because you're supposed to follow commandments or practices, but doing it in a way that you can have faith and practice and live out your faith. Here he talks about how to be, in essence, and it's a great word for us as believers. First he says, you are the salt of the earth, in verse 13. I really like salt, and as I get older, we're supposed to have it in a smaller portions, right? But can you imagine having French fries without salt, for instance? There's just no way. Potatoes without salt, it would be just kind of dry and tasteless. And that's the whole essence of being the salt. If you're not using it, and it's not useful, it's thrown away and trampled on, the Bible says. So it's almost as if our faith isn't bringing flavor and it's not useful, we're missing it. And so be the salt of the earth. Secondly, he talks about being the light of the world, that Christians, you are the light of the world. It's almost as if in this dark time, how can we be a light? Well, the way is that we show the people the Father, and in what we say and what we do. I get on the bandwagon of being a complainer and showing the negative things, and so if I can't come up with something that it is a good solution, I'm out of control or whatever, I want to complain about it. Are you like me in that? It's certainly during this time I feel like I'm out of control, but I need to be the light of the world. How can I be the bearer of bad news almost, but give good news out of that? Well, we're the light of the world. You know, the old Sunday school songs come to mind. Hide it under a bush, oh no, I'm going to let it shine, right? Won't let Satan poof it out. I'm going to let it shine. This thought that we can't hide our faith under a bowl. This light cannot be hidden. It can't be, hey, I'm going to keep it to myself, but you need to broadcast it. Well, how do we do that? We do it in our actions, right, church? How we say what we do, online, in person, how we drive, all those kinds of places at work. And finally, he winds up this small piece of the Beatitudes in part by saying, in the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works or your good deeds, so that they can glorify God in heaven. And Matthew chooses this phrase, Father in heaven. And he says it 17 times in his gospel, where Mark and Luke decided to say it once. And it's interesting to note, perhaps he knew his audience. He wanted to make sure that these Jewish, moving to be Christians, maybe they were Christians at this point, that they knew how to act and react with these principles and these laws and these commandments. They were not to be religious. They were meant to be improving your faith so that people around you can see the Father in heaven. It's not about all these doing things for religious sake. It ultimately brings glory to the Father. Church, let us continue to shine so that those around us can watch us and go, there's something different about them. They handle chaos and bad news, and they present hope and good news with it. Thanks so much for listening. Keep shining, church, for His glory.